wanted this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm cash.
Hi guys, welcome back to another financial video. These are my favorite, they're your favorite, so let's get into it. If you're new, my name is Allison, I'm 29. I post a lot of videos about my personal finance journey. I was on a debt payoff journey for the last like 4 to 5 years, and now we're moving into my savings journey. Love that. We're so excited for that. Today's video is going to be my payday routine video, also my monthly financial reset video, because they've both kind of been falling around the same time and it's been working out really, really well. We'll budget my paycheck first, then we'll wrap up, take a look at how I did in the month of August, and then finish off with setting up my budget for September. Now, I will say this is my second time filming this because I went back and watched the footage and I think my microphone was like picking up all the audio from behind the camera, not the front of the camera. So I hated the way that the audio came out. So I am filming this for the second time. So hopefully that means I will talk less this time. And I did technically already set up my budget for September, so we'll just kind of look it over. Usually I set it up with you guys. I figured we would just look at it together because I already set it up. First thing that we're gonna do is budget my paycheck together. This was my paycheck that I got on August 28th, which is my third paycheck of the month of August. So we loved that, absolutely love that. And basically what I always do, even if it is the third paycheck of the month, is kind of use that money to budget with between, you know, the 28th and September 11th, because I'll get paid again on the 12th. So anything that's coming out in those 2 weeks will be from this paycheck, is how I typically budget. My income for this pay period was $2,122.25, which was pretty annoying because I worked overtime, but I made less. I also got a pay increase, not that much, because I had just started like a few months ago, and I made less. Mostly it was because of union dues. I am in a union. I'm not a huge fan because it hasn't seemed to be very beneficial for me. And I will say this, I'm hopefully moving to a different facility within the same company, but they're not part of the union. So I'm hoping that eventually when I start working there, it'll be better, because then I won't get that money taken out of my paycheck. Like, I just feel like I'm working more and I'm not making enough extra that it made sense. I don't know. Like, I've worked like 3 jobs now in the same field, and it felt like I was making more when I worked other places. Like, it feels like a lot is getting taken out of my paycheck here. So obviously I don't love that. I have kind of in the last month had a little bit of like regret and thinking like, did I make the right choice in leaving my last job where I was working 3 days a week and making a little bit more per hour? Because that was a pretty good gig, I'm not gonna lie. I was commuting an hour, but I only had to do it 3 days a week. I don't know. There's just a lot, but I know that I can't like think like that either, because if I transfer to this new facility that's like 10 minutes away, I would have cut down my commute by a lot. I still could potentially go part-time eventually. I'm just not sure how willing they are to like work with me on that. Feeling a little stressed about it all. I don't think it was a mistake, or I don't really regret it, but sometimes I'm like, I mean, I was only working 3 days a week and I was making more per hour, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I did also have $81.20 carry over from my last paycheck, so that gives me about $2,203 to budget with for the next 2 weeks. Again, because this was my third paycheck, I didn't have to save anything for rent because I had planned ahead and knew that I still wanted to save the rent the normal way that I do from my first 2 paychecks this month. So I didn't have to save anything for rent, which was really nice. Into my emergency fund, which is in a high yield savings account, I did put $100 into our joint savings account, which is also in a high yield savings account. I put $200, that's mostly for our down payment savings, into an account that we use for groceries. I put $150, and then I look at subscriptions that are coming out in the next 2 weeks, and I had 5. So I have Hulu, which is $9.99, CapCut, which is $9.99, Apple is $2.99, my Aura Ring subscription is $6.35, and Netflix is $17.99. Total subscriptions for the next 2 weeks is $44.81. Some other bills that are coming out in the next 2 weeks is our car insurance. This is me and my husband on the same car insurance, is $200, and I do pay for that. And then our phone and internet bill is also $200, and I pay for that. Then some other expenses during the next 2 weeks is our cats. I'll budget $35, and that's just for some cat litter. Gas, I'm gonna budget $65, which is about 1 tank of gas per week. And then I'm getting my nails done next weekend, and I'm budgeting $80 for that. And then normally going forward, this is where all this extra money will go towards savings, but I kind of knew that this extra paycheck was gonna be for some fun purchases and extra purchases that I've made during this last month to pay them off, which I'm not mad about. I have no regret about that. Basically, I put $857.62 towards my credit card to pay that completely off. I bought hockey tickets to an NHL game for my 30th birthday. We're going to Toronto. So those were about $475. And then I did get Botox in my forehead to prevent wrinkles, but also it helps with my headaches. And that was about $400. Both of those things went on my credit card, but I knew that I was gonna pay them off from this paycheck and just extra money that I usually get from social media. It's hard when you're like, dang, I could have saved that money. I always say this, I'm a big advocate for balance and spending your money and doing things, and I like experiences like going to a hockey game. At the end of the day, this month was a crazy month. I paid off my car. I'm officially debt-free from everything. I paid off this credit card, so I'm going into September literally like in the green, like no debt, no nothing. I don't want to feel any guilt about it either, so I'm not going to, because I've been working really, really hard this last few years and especially these last few months, so I'm happy with my choices. If you add all of that together, that comes to $1,932, and then if you subtract that from what I had to budget with, that does leave me with about $270 for the next 2 weeks. That is the paycheck breakdown. Next, we're gonna move on to looking at August as a whole and see how I did with my spending. As always, I use the yearly 2.0 budget tracker by Coplenty. I have a discount code with them. You guys know I never shut up about it. I feel like this and tracking and like seeing everything visually helped me so much with paying off my car. Like, truly. So let's take a look at August. I did make a little bit more this month than I was expecting, but obviously that usually means I spend more than I was expecting. Bills were pretty spot on. I did pay off my car this month, which is so exciting. Subscriptions, spot on. And then expenses, this is where it gets a little dicey, as always. For the most part, it's just funny. There's not a lot of sections in red, but the ones that are in red are pretty high in the red. But groceries, dining out, and gas were all pretty solid. I'm happy with like some of these things. I've finally like really pinpointed like what a good budget is for me. Shopping was a little bit higher. We all know I love to shop. Beauty, obviously that's where I put the Botox expense, and then my nails and entertainment is where I put the tickets to the hockey game. So that was over by quite a bit. Travel, gifts were $0. Pets, I was pretty spot on this month. Health was spot on. I did know that this expense was coming out, and I don't hide this, but I am on a GLP-1 medication, so I use an online provider, and I don't know if I'm gonna, renew the medication again, because this will take me through the end of the year, and I might be where I want to be at that point. So we'll just have to see, but I do find that worth it, and it's been a great experience for me so far and a great journey. So it's funny, I feel like sometimes when I talk about these things I come off as very like vain and like I care a lot about my appearance, and I guess I kind of do. Like I kind of always have. I'm not mad that I'm spending that money on these things because it's been like a good thing for me, but yeah, I feel like I'm like actually a really down-to-earth person. I don't know, I just care about my appearance. I can't explain it. Snacks, in a surprising turn of events, I spent $0. Coffee was over budget because pumpkin spice came out, so I did take quite a few trips to Dunkin' Donuts. Golf, zero. Probably just gonna take that out of the budget because I will not be golfing anymore this season. Home, zero. Miscellaneous was a little bit over. Car, other, I was spot on. I did have to get an oil change, windshield wipers, car wash, all of that good stuff this month, so that was a little higher. Amazon and books, I was kind of right on track, so we love that. We were doing pretty good, at least with like miscellaneous spending. And then savings, I hit every savings goal as well. Emergency fund, house fund, and I did even end up putting $50 into my Roth IRA, which was so exciting. I'm trying to get back into investing now that I have my debt paid off, so that's exciting. Yeah, that was August. I'm happy with my choices. And that's that. Moving on to September. Income-wise, I have 2 paychecks. Social media income's a little low this month, which is fine. Probably will get a brand deal this payment this month, but I'm not 100% sure, so again, I'm just not gonna put it in there. A little bit lower of an income month, but it is what it is. The bills section is kind of nice because it's a lot lower now. I don't have to worry about the car. I need people's opinion on this because I've been contemplating it, but my gym membership, it's funny, I've been kind of back and forth with this for a while. The other month I was gonna increase my gym membership. Now I'm considering canceling my gym membership because I haven't been feeling very motivated to go. I enjoy the classes, I really do. I've just been like, with my schedule, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Going after work is such a chore, and I'm just nervous if I stop, I'll lose my momentum, then I won't even work out at all. But if I stop, I could save this money. And then even if I save this money for like 3 months, I could afford to buy like a set of dumbbells or even a squat rack and weights for a home gym, because my dream is literally to have a home gym like in a basement or a spare bedroom or something when we move. And if I start saving now, I could easily save enough money from just this gym membership alone for a few months to purchase that like right when we move into the house. But then I don't know if that means for the next few months that I just like wouldn't be working out, because I don't know if I have the discipline to like go on my own or do home workouts or whatever. So I don't know. I want people's opinions because I'm torn to pay this month either way, because I believe she wants like 30-day notice. So I was like, well, either way, I'll pay this month. I'm very tempted to stop and just save this money. Let me know what you guys think. Then I have subscriptions. Those are all standard. Those are all coming out. And then I copied over all my expenses and changed everything. I left groceries, dining out, and fuel the same because those were all, I've been doing really well with those. I increased shopping to 100, which doesn't give me that much more wiggle room, but I feel like I'll be more likely to be closer to 100. Beauty, I put at 90. Entertainment and travel, I left at 0. Gifts, I put at 50 because I do have a baby shower to go to, but I have a few things already, but I'll probably get like, 1 or 2 more things. Pets, I'll leave at 150. Health, 0. Snacks, 20. Coffee, I brought up to 35 because I feel like that's more realistic for me. Golf, I brought down to 0. Did put 150 into the home category, and this is because I've started to make a list of things that we'll need for the house, specifically just like furniture, things that I know we're gonna need, things that I can buy and just leave in the box and put in our basement, and then when we move, we take that stuff with us and set it up. So I've been slowly adding stuff to like my carts and just like keeping an eye on prices and stuff. So I did want to budget 150 for like home stuff to start like accumulating things little by little. Miscellaneous, I left at 50. Car, other, I brought down to 15 just for a car wash. Amazon, 50, and books, 30. I feel pretty good about that budget. Savings is where I finally got to like increase these numbers, and it felt really, really good. I sort of mentioned this, but I did change my payment elections. So I used to put $100 into my emergency fund. Now I'm auto depositing $200. Total for the month should be $400 into my emergency fund. And then house fund, I changed from $200 to $500 per paycheck. So I will at least put $1,000 into the house fund. Into my Roth IRA, I want to put $100. Savings, investments, we're looking at $1,500. Overall, looking pretty good. That leaves me with about $350 left over, which I like because that means I didn't over budget, and that leaves me with a little bit of wiggle room in case things come up, which they always do. But I feel really, really good about this budget, honestly. And I feel like it's just gonna be a really, really good month. Last thing that I'll talk about really quickly, because I used to do a debt payoff update at the end of my videos, but now I feel like I'm gonna do a savings update with you guys. I probably won't share everything just because like I know I share a lot. I share most things on here about my finances, but sharing my specific savings number for our house down payment seems very personal, and it's not just my money, so I don't feel like I need to share that number. But what I will say, I've said this before, my goal for my emergency fund is $5,000 by the end of this year, and I'm currently at $3,450. I'm hoping to get that up to $5,000 at least. And then on top of that, I would like to start making some sinking funds. Specifically, like the first two that I want are one for my car. I would like to have like $1,000 set aside for my car and $1,000 set aside for like medical bills, because I am someone who goes to the doctor and I have weird medical things that happen to me, and I had $1,000 medical bill this year. I would like to have those separate and then like an emergency fund separate, because that is more for like if you were to lose your job or have to be out of work for a little bit or whatever. Having specific sinking funds for like your car is like if you get in an accident to pay the deductible, or if you go to the doctor and get sent a bill. I would like to have just separate money set aside for those things. So that is kind of next on my goal list. And then on top of that, I did tell you guys my next goal is a savings goal. I would love to save another $10,000 towards the house saving fund in the next like 6 months. Obviously, since my last paycheck, I've only put $200 into that account from my last paycheck. So we're looking at still another $9,800. Since I've upped my contribution, that's at least $6,000 just from like my paychecks that I'll be putting in there in the next 6 months, because from each paycheck I'll be putting $500. The goal's not that far out of reach if I keep saving and putting any extra social media money in there. It's definitely like a very realistic number, which is why I picked 10,000. So far, we're at 200. We'll keep you updated on that goal. The other thing I will mention is I do plan on helping my husband a little bit, paying off some of his debt, because I'm in the position where I'm able to. The general like loose plan is to maybe help him with like $300 to $500 a month, just helping him pay off his credit card. So that's another expense that you might see in next month's budget as well. Yeah, we're a team now, and we both really, really want to move on to this next chapter of our life, which is buying a house. And in order to do that, we want to be in the best financial position that we can be. So that's the plan. That's the budget. That is my paycheck. That's everything. As always, I love you guys so, so much. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon in the next video.